Hey all, we physical therapists paid way too much for our education and we are way underpaid and we deserve a lot more money. So I want to go to work on fixing this. So I want to talk about the four main areas that we can do as physical therapists to make the most amount of money. So area number one, being an employee. Most of us start as employees. It's good to look at all the specialties and subspecialties because each one is going to have a pro and a con in different ways that can help us to make more money. Across the board, I mean, you look at orthopedics, sports, inpatient, rehab, pediatrics, aquatics, canine therapy. Each one's going to have a pro and a con. Right now, across the board, home health definitely pays the highest salaries, and that offers a lot of different opportunities. But you look at something like inpatient rehab. There are some physical therapists that work 3 days a week and they work 3 12s. It leaves them a lot of time on the side to work on a side project. So it's important to weigh the pros and cons of each of those. But being honest, being an employee is probably the worst thing you can do. We're really just making other people rich. So the next area that I want to talk about is contract work and being self-employed. Um, so contract work is something that I had done. I did it for 9 years. It's near and dear to my heart. It really helped save me from and got me out from under debt. If you do travel or contract work, you go through an agency, you're a W-2 employee. To me, it's the way you can make the most amount of money in the fastest way with the least amount of risk. So especially if you're a newer graduate and you're buried under debt, that's one of the easiest ways to get out of that debt and start building, some income. But you don't necessarily have to go through a travel company. I know physical therapists that have done their own 1099 work, and you can reach out to different businesses that are just starting up, and they're just trying to build up their patient caseload. And you can reach out to them and say, hey, I could do a 3 month or 6 month or 12-month contract with you guys to help while you're building things up. And because they really need you, they're willing to pay you more for short-term work. The other areas where that works is say you are in Florida during the winter time where everybody floods down there and they just need temporary work for 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 6 months, I'm sorry. That's another area where you can reach out to local businesses and you can see if they would want you for the short term, seasonal contracts. Um, so that's really cool, especially because I even though if you're contracting or traveling, you're a W-2 employee, I still consider that self-employment because you're in control of your contracts. They're really desperate and they need you. If you don't like the contract, you can leave after 3 months. So I consider that being self-employed because it's like you're your own business. But I think the main area that I want to talk about next is entrepreneurship. And this is something that is very important to me. It's the way you can make the most amount of money. It's something all of us physical therapists really need to be striving for. Because right now, we go into a ton of debt and then we go to work for somebody else's business and we're making them rich and they're stealing our lunch. So we need to work into more partnerships and start more clinics that are partnership based. When you look at the medical field, you look at medical doctors in an outpatient setting, they don't go to work for other doctors. They work their way into the practice as partners. And that's where I think the evolution of physical therapy needs to go. But in addition to starting a clinic, there's a lot of other ways you can be an entrepreneur. You can work on side hustles. You could just see patients on the side and have them pay you cash. You can be an outpatient physical therapist and see patients in their home and bill for outpatient services and just be self-employed or a sole proprietor. Um, and in addition to seeing patients, there's a lot of other avenues of entrepreneurship. We're in an area where there's a ton of demand, low supply of therapists. There's a lot of needs not being met. So if you come up with ways to solve problems, whether it be a product or a different way to deliver a service, that's the real secret to making money. But the long and short of it is we need to stop going to work for other people. We need to stop them from stealing our lunch, basically. And the fourth area that I want to talk about is once you're out of debt and you've made some more money, um, investing is very important because it's like they say, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep, and it's what you do with your money that's more important than how much you have. So, becoming really good with money is important. If you first come out of school, you're in a ton of debt. I'd encourage everybody to, create a budget and list all of your expenses and all of your income streams. I know it sounds really simple, but it really is simple math. Try to find ways to minimize all of your expenses and maximize all of your income. And then once you have some income, Go out, open a Fidelity or a Charles Schwab account, and just start investing slowly but surely. It's not as complex as it seems. If you want to be really safe and you just have a little bit extra money, just put your money into a money market account or CDs, something that's guaranteed. If you want to go a little bit more aggressive, you can find some very safe ETFs or mutual funds that mimic the S&P or the Nasdaq. And if you want to go really aggressive and you're more of a risk taker, you could definitely buy individual stocks as well. And if you have a lot of extra money, buying assets and trying to minimize your liabilities is always an important thing as an investor. If you want to start buying real estate and really trying to generate equity and more income that way, that's a great way to go. But I think it's important to look at all four of these areas to try to maximize your income because us physical therapists, we've just been way underpaid for way too long, and that needs to stop now. So I hope this all resonates with you, and if so, I hope to see you in my next video.